We've always known that the winter months would pose the greatest threat to our road to recovery. The darker skies, the colder weather provide perfect conditions, not just for Covid-19 to thrive, but for other seasonal viruses too, like flu and norovirus. And ahead of winter, just as we expected, we're starting to see this impact. Cases are rising, and yesterday we reported 43,738 new cases across the UK, up 16% from the previous week. And they could go yet as high as 100,000 a day. We're also seeing greater pressure on the NHS. Across the UK, we're now approaching 1,000 hospitalisations per day. The NHS is performing with distinction, and I'd like to thank everyone who's working so hard to keep us safe. And we'll do what it takes to make sure that this pressure doesn't become unsustainable and that we don't allow the NHS to become overwhelmed. Deaths remain mercifully low, but they are still, sadly, over 100 a day. This pandemic is not over. Thanks to the vaccination programme, yes, the link between cases and hospitalisations and deaths has significantly weakened, but it's not broken. So we must all remember that this virus will be with us for the long term and that it remains a threat to our loved ones and a threat to the progress that we've made in getting our nation closer to normal life. We're looking closely at the data, and we won't be implementing our Plan B of contingency measures at this point. But we'll be staying vigilant, preparing for all eventualities, while strengthening our vital defences that can help us fight back against this virus. We cannot be complacent when Covid-19 remains such a potent threat. Ever since our phenomenal vaccine programme began last winter, we've been in a race between the vaccine and the virus. And although we're ahead in that race, the gap is narrowing. We've come so far, thanks to the efforts of so many, but with winter ahead, we can't blow it now. So we're going to do everything we can to maintain our lead by strengthening our vaccination programme as our primary line of defence. First, we'll redouble our efforts to encourage anyone who's eligible to take up the initial offer of a jab. There's almost 5 million people over the age of 16 that remain unvaccinated in the UK. It might be someone you know, a friend, a family member, a colleague. And if you do, tell them that it's never too late to come forward. So if you yet haven't had your jab, please take this huge step to protect yourself and to protect your loved ones. Second, we've extended the offer of a vaccine to more and more people, including young people aged between 12 and 15 years. And we'll be making it easier for them to get protected by opening up our national booking service so they can get their jab at our vaccination centres across the country as well as at school. Third, we've also started rolling out our booster programme, which is vital to keeping us safe over the coming months. Because although our vaccines offer powerful protection, we now know that the protection that you get from a COVID vaccine reduces materially over time, especially in older people who are at the greatest risk. And without delivering a top-up of protection through a booster dose, we will see a real-world impact. As well as this, COVID-19 mutates like any virus, and we're identifying new variants all the time. This includes a new version of the Delta variant, which is currently known as AY4.2, and that new variant is now spreading. And while there's no reason to believe at this point that AY4.2 poses a greater threat, the next variant, or the one after that, might do. So we need to be ready for what lies around the corner. This means our ongoing program of booster jabs is so important, and this winter we're prioritising those most in need. Today, we've reached a milestone of 4 million top-up jabs in England, but we need to get even more people protected. We've got the jabs. We just need the arms to put them in. If you're over 50 or in another priority group and had your second jab over 6 months ago, you're eligible for a booster, and the NHS will send you an invite. If you haven't been invited within a week of reaching that 6-month milestone, then please get onto the National Booking Service and book online or phone 119. Not just to save lives, but to keep your freedoms too. Because all of these precious moments that we've been able to restore over the past few months, the loved ones that we've been able to see, and the collective experiences that we've been able to share, they've been possible thanks to our vaccination program and because of so many of you that came forward when it was your time. And if we want to secure these freedoms for the long term, then the best thing that we can do is come forward once again when that moment comes. After the decisive steps that we've taken this year, none of us want to go backwards now. So we must all play our part in this national mission and think about what we can do to make a difference. That means getting the jab when the time comes, whether it's for COVID-19 or flu. But although vaccinations are our primary form of defence, there are many more things that we can all do to help contain the spread of this virus. Like meeting outdoors where it's possible, and if you can only meet indoors, letting in fresh air. Like wearing a face covering in crowded and enclosed spaces, especially if you're coming into contact with people that you don't normally meet. And like making and taking rapid tests, making them as part of your weekly routine. 1/4 of the positive cases that we are now identifying come from those lateral flow tests that people are taking without symptoms, but they're taking them as a precaution, especially if they're about to go and meet a loved one, perhaps a grandparent or another vulnerable person. With winter soon upon us, these little steps make a big difference. And they're more important now than they have ever been. If we all play our part, then we can give ourselves the best possible chance in this race, get through this winter, and enjoy Christmas with our loved ones. Thank you.